are fake, or he wants to get them all immediately, yesterday. So today he showed off what he called a box of vaccines during his press briefing, only to later clarify it was just a mock-up. The governor smirked and made a joke about Christmas presents as he pulled out the package from New York-based drug maker Pfizer. His show and tell moment came after he instructed New Yorkers to get ready for the COVID-19 vaccine. Show and tell. What does he think? All of his voters are kindergartners? He instructed New Yorkers to get ready for the COVID-19 vaccine because, quote, it's here and it's real. I thought he said it wasn't real. A day after announcing the state was expecting 170,000 doses by December 15th. So, in other words, his earlier statements that it might be fake are inoperative now, as Nixon's press guy, Ron Ziegler, used to say. It's real, and they're being manufactured, and they're going to be shipped. This is the weapon that is going to win the war, he said, holding up the fake mock-up. So let's listen to a little bit of his stupid...
The package itself comes with a geo-tracker GPS tracking device that can track the program and a thermal monitor, so it monitors the temperature of the package. You want to know where the package is, and the package has to stay at the right temperature, because if it doesn't, then the vaccine is destroyed.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation, Dr. Cuomo. Where did he get this stuff that he was using? Out of a Cracker Jacks box?
It looked like one of those boxes you get from Build-A-Bear Workshop. He was going to pull a brand new teddy bear out of the box.
What a buffoon.
This is a box of vaccines. It comes
No, it's not. Actually, it's not.
Wrapped in dry ice because it has to be ultra cold. When you receive the package, you have to replace the dry ice, and then you have to replace the dry ice every 5 days. Okay? Under the dry ice is...
You guys have heard me talk about SuperBeets for a while, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, Grace, why SuperBeets? You can take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I feel so much better right when I take one. I feel energized and ready to take on the day. And in the afternoon when I start to hit a slump, boom, I take a SuperBeet and I'm refreshed and ready to go. If that doesn't convince you, can we talk about the science behind SuperBeets? Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and supports healthy blood pressure. And the science team behind SuperBeets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the Science Award by the Nutrition Business Journal. Go to www.superbeetsradio.com to find out more about SuperBeets. Also, did I mention they taste really good too? That's www.superbeetsradio.com. www.superbeetsradio.com.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and she's the Boston Herald's wittiest wordsmith, the last woman standing at the Whiskey Priest. Once a very legitimate magazine that we definitely didn't make up named her the Michael Jordan of radio. Wait, don't you think we're laying it on a little thick here, Grace?
Just stick to the script.
Oh, okay. Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio, It's the Grace Curley Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. I'm so excited to be here. Happy Friday. Tons of news to get to. I'm excited because Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, already did her press conference for the day. She was early today. So we have a lot of sound from that. And the GameStop issue is continuing. And I have to say, Biden's only been in there for, what is it now, like 7 days? And he's over the administration is overwhelmed. To be fair, they've had some crazy things happening. But this GameStop thing really puts a light on how over their heads they are. And specifically, Jen Psaki. I say this as someone, I have my VIPs here, who makes mistakes all the time. Okay? You guys all heard me say Tuscan instead of Tucson. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to pretend to be perfect. But if you're the White House press secretary, especially going in after people like Sean Spicer and Kayleigh McEnany, you got to be ready. You have to have your ducks in a row. And if you've been following what happened with the GameStop situation, it's complicated. I tried to have someone explain it to me yesterday. I get the gist of it. The Reddit guys decided they were going to buy a lot of stock in GameStop, which is a brick and mortar, which is pretty much going downhill. They bought all this stock. They rose the price up. And the hedge fund guys who shorted the stock are now in the hole for billions of dollars. And they're mad about that because they're used to making the rules and playing the game. And they're not used to, the nerds on Reddit playing their own game. I say nerds in a loving way. I love those guys. I think it's awesome what they're doing. But it took me a good amount of time to wrap my head around that whole thing. I called my dad. I talked to Jared about it. I had Shipwreck Crew on yesterday explaining it. It was a decently tough story for me because I'm not a finance person. Now I hear that Joe Biden this morning met with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen to talk about GameStop. And all I could think was, how is he wrapping his head around this story? This guy thinks that people are sitting at home listening to their record players. He's struggling with the pen that he's using to sign all these executive orders. And I don't mean it, I know I sound like I'm being rude. I don't mean it in a fresh way. I just mean if I'm a millennial and it's taken me a minute, this guy must be like, what is going on? What are you guys even talking about?
And Pac-Man was a bad dude.
Pac-Man was a bad dude. I mean, Reddit, he's definitely looking at Janet Yellen like, I have zero clue what you are talking about right now. Where's Major? Where's Champ? I need to pull one of those dog's tails. I'm going out of my mind. And so now it's all falling on Jen Psaki to answer these questions. She has no answers. She continuously just says, I'll circle back to you on that. I'll get back to you. We'll come back to that.
Suck it to me, baby.
And I want to play some of this Jen Psaki because let's first listen at when she defers on Robinhood. This is a huge story. If Kayleigh McEnany were in there, you can not only guarantee they'd be grilling her on this, but she'd be giving them answers. It might not be what they'd want to hear, but she'd have something. Because she would have actually talked to Donald Trump and figured out what he thought about it. People would have hated it. People would have said it was the worst, but they would have had something. Jen Psaki, who seems perfectly nice. I had Sean Spicer on yesterday. He said she's a nice girl. She doesn't have any answers for the press. And I think she's kind of surprised at how many questions they're asking her. Like, I don't know what gig she thought this was, but you can tell when she smiles at them, she's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why are you asking me these? This was not part of the plan. This is Jen Psaki on Robinhood, Cut 7.
Is the SEC, DOJ, or broader administration specifically looking at Robinhood and other platforms' decision to prevent retail investors from purchasing certain stocks like GameStop?
I don't have anything more on this aside from to point you to the SEC statement.
Okay, so Cut 8.
Given all the volatility surrounding Wall Street and GameStop, what is the Biden administration doing to protect the average American investor if there is going to be potentially a major market correction coming?
Well, the SEC put out a statement. I believe it was today, or in the last 24 hours, I should say. We'd refer you to that. We're not going to have additional comment from here.
Nothing beyond just monitoring it. Has he had any conversations with economic officials about what's going on?
We don't. He's briefed by his economic team frequently, but I don't have anything more to read out for you.
All right.
Ooh.
So we're going to keep referring to the statement, but people pressed on. This is cut 9.
There have been some kind of concerns about her previous engagements with Citadel and speaking fees that she has received from Citadel. Are there any plans to have her recuse herself from advising the president on GameStop and the whole Robinhood situation?
Well, just to be clear, what I said was that we have the Treasury Secretary is now confirmed. Obviously, we have a broad economic team. The SEC put out a statement yesterday that I referred to, but I don't think I have anything more for you on it, other than to say, separate from the GameStop issue, the Secretary of Treasury is one of the world-renowned experts on markets, on the economy. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone she was paid to give her perspective and advice before she came into office.
And you'll remember yesterday, Jen Psaki, when asked about this, somehow brought it back to the fact that Janet Yellen is a woman, and they decided to have a woman in this position. And now she's an expert. None of that answers the question, does she have a conflict of interest? That's the big question. I didn't know women couldn't have conflicts of interest. It doesn't make sense to me. Janet Yellen, a former Federal Reserve chairman, was paid $810,000 by hedge fund Citadel for 3 events. 3 events. And that's fine. I mean, at a certain point, to quote Barack Obama, I think you've made enough money, but that's fine. She can do that. But Citadel is very much involved with this story. And Citadel got hit really bad by this. And I think that they had something to do with shutting Robinhood down, or at least freezing the traders out. So it would seem, though, it would be a very easy recusal. Remember how many people... Oh, let's listen. This is Jen Psaki talking about how when they asked about Janet Yellen, she brought up this totally out of the blue thing that Janet Yellen is a woman.
Is the White House concerned about the stock market activity we're seeing around GameStop, and now with some other stocks as well, including the subsidiary or whatever, the company that was Blockbuster? And have there been any conversations with the SEC about how to proceed?
Well, I'm also happy to repeat that we have the first female Treasury Secretary and a team that's surrounding her, and often questions about market we'll send to them.
We need answers. Those are not answers, Jen Psaki. Imagine if I answered questions like that. It reminds me of my younger brother. My younger brother was not the best student. Lovely guy. He's going to be fine. C students run the world. But when my mom would ask him a question about his homework, he would go around the world. She'd say, so what president was that? Oh, you want to know what president that was? And she'd say, why are you repeating the question back to me? And he would say, why am I repeating the question back to you? It was like, you never got an actual answer. Jen Psaki needs to do some prep here. We'll be back on the other side with more sound and a little bit of Governor Cuomo. Don't go anywhere. This is the Grace Curley Show.
I recently had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but this reminded me again of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer, a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. Right now, when a lot of people don't want to go into the city, Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, and parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols that Perfect Smiles has taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. Call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, or go to howiecarrshow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at perfectsmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile. Change your life.
You guys have heard me talk about SuperBeets for a while, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, Grace, why SuperBeets? You can take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I feel so much better right when I take one. I feel energized and ready to take on the day. And in the afternoon when I start to hit a slump, boom, I take a SuperBeet and I'm refreshed and ready to go. If that doesn't convince you, can we talk about the science behind SuperBeets? Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and supports healthy blood pressure. And the science team behind SuperBeets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the Science Award by the Nutrition Business Journal. Go to www.superbeetsradio.com to find out more about SuperBeets. Also, did I mention they taste really good too? That's www.superbeetsradio.com. www.superbeetsradio.com.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us. I think it's up to 30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having two classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval, back in May 2019, a $15 million, $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
It's story time with Grace Curley. Tell me the story about driving back from the Matthews Brothers remote.
I was driving the mayoral manager's car, and then she was driving their other car. She had Howie in her car, and I was by myself. And it was a snowstorm, and it was really, really, really bad. Like, I'm talking the worst conditions I've ever had to drive on in my entire life. It was so scary. I was sweating. I don't think I got home till like 3 a.m. And I was like, I have to come in tomorrow and tell the mayoral manager I can't do that again. And when I came in and, I kind of built up the courage to say it, and she looked at me and she said, "You can't do that again." I was sweating. My whole back was sweating. I'm never doing that again ever. So now if there's even like a little bit of snow coming, she'll say to me, "Do you want to stay at the hotel? Or do you want to, what should we do? How should we plan for this?"
Catch all of Grace Curley's stories weekdays right before Howie from 12 to 3 on The Grace Curley Show. And follow Grace on Twitter at @G_Curley.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much.
All right, it's crisp.
Sometimes I wake up and I...
Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio.
More on GameStop, not to belabor the point, but
I love the effort. You guys are trying so hard on this.
They kept asking Jen Psaki about GameStop. They really wanted an answer. And let's play some more of these because she did backtrack a little bit. Jared, you know these better than I do. Play whichever ones you think are the most important for the GameStop saga.
But I just want to be clear here, do you anticipate President Biden to address the GameStop controversy when he meets with his economic team a little bit later this morning?
No.
Yeah, so that was the moment she realized, whoops, I said the quiet part out loud again. So now she kind of has to
She said basically what I'm thinking, which is no one's bringing this up to Joe Biden because it would be like bringing up, it's like when you show I'm offending so many people today already. It's only 12:30. It's like when you show an old person a meme or something funny and they have to put their glasses on and then they say, who's that? And then they say, where'd you get this? It's too involved. They're not, they're going to bring up the GameStop to Joe Biden? No.
Is that Stratomatic baseball?
He's like, oh, okay. It's not happening. Play the next one.
No. Do we anticipate him addressing it publicly, you mean?
No, just talking about it with his economic team.
Well, the focus of the meeting is about the recovery plan, about the status of the economic recovery, about obviously the data that we saw yesterday. I'm sure they'll cover a range of topics during that meeting.
I'm not sure they will. I don't even know if these meetings are really happening. I'm getting very, very disappointed. And you know what's funny to me is that the press is, I wrote about this last week. I said, this guy is going to be the least transparent, if you can believe that, because Obama was extremely non-transparent. He was very secretive, in fact. But Joe Biden's worse. And it's not by design. It's just he's an old man and they can't have him out there. It will blow the whole cover. So they're going to be extremely, extremely closed down and not giving the press anything. And then when you have Jen Psaki, and I think this is what always amazed me. For 4 years, the press hated Donald Trump. And deep down, I was like, I wonder if they really understand how bad their ratings and their stories and their lives are going to be if Trump's gone. Because they fed off Trump. They were addicted to him. And to go from that to a press secretary who just says, I'm going to circle back with you after every question has to be torturous. It has to be disappointing. And I don't feel bad for them. I'm thrilled. I love when Joe Biden looks at them and says, come on, man. You all said I couldn't do this, and then walks off. I love how he treats them like dirt. And they were so nice to him. For months and months and months, they groveled. They said, what kind of milkshake is that? What's Dr. Jill wearing to the party tonight? They loved him. And he just gets out there and he doesn't give them 2 seconds. And neither will his press secretary. And now they expect us to feel bad for them. Like, you watch, Jared. Next week it will be, this administration hasn't really had many press conferences. Yep. Yeah, we know. We knew that was going to happen. We all had kind of a feeling that was going to happen.
Well, to that point, there was actually a reporter who asked if the president would be answering questions, and we have
good for him.
Very condescending response.
Jen, can we expect to see the president in this briefing room anytime soon?
Mm-hmm. Are you eager to see him? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, he's the president. I kind of want to talk to the guy.
Are the White House journalists eager to see the president of the United States who they cover for their jobs? Probably a little bit. Did she think she was being cute?
Anytime soon?
Mm-hmm. Are you eager to see him? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
You know, the president took questions earlier this week when he did an event, and we certainly are going to look for opportunities to continue to do that. The location of where the questions will take place, I don't think I have anything further, but we'll look for additional opportunities for him to take additional questions from all of you.
I can't tell you guys how much I love this. President Trump, you can love him, you can hate him. That guy took questions on everything from Tiger Woods to Tiger King to the stock market to vaccines. And he would do it in 2 hours. And he would look at the press and go, should we keep going? Do you guys want to keep doing this? He would take them on the White House lawn. He would take them in the Rose Garden. He would take them on his way up the escalator, down the escalator. The guy took questions everywhere he went. And she's going to try to find opportunities for Joe Biden to answer questions from people who he's already going to have on a list. He's not just going to pick random people. God forbid he might get Peter Doocy. He's going to have ABC Mary and NBC John, and he's going to go through the list. It's really amazing, and it just makes me so happy. I want to hear that one more time, Derek. There's something else I noticed. Play it from the top.
Jen, can we expect to see the president in this briefing room anytime soon?
Mm-hmm. Are you eager to see him? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
You know, the president took questions earlier this week.
Okay. It's a little too flirty for me, the press now. Are you eager to see him? It's like she's teasing them. Like, he asked you a question. It's a bit strange. Nick, you're next with Grace on the Grace Curley Show. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, two things, Grace. What I'd like to see be refuted or asked to Miss Psaki at the one of those press conferences. I hear the regurgitation from Kerry, who looks almost dead, by the way, and also the president, equally almost as dead. They're approaching room temperature as we speak. But they talk about the XL pipeline, the personnel that's been laid off. Okay, so welders, so apparently, so they can become software coders, or they could become people who make solar panels. Well, 67% of solar panels are made in China. They actually have a few plants over here in addition to that, which I'm sure they're not doing it for free. They're over here, but they're only making 1 or 2% of what we need. However, software, I was in that racket myself. I was happy to retire. I was at that age, but I was forced to retire 3 times. And 68% of software development is done in India. The only thing happening pretty much here, right, are people who manage those people. My former manager handles about 200-300 people. No, not on the direct contact basis, but there's software developers over there. He stays on top of projects. And what's sad about that is that's no Social Security money being paid, no city or local taxes being paid, property taxes, no no income taxes being paid, and of course the economy that comes with that is all over in India.
Nick, that is incredible, and it almost feels like Joe Biden doesn't care about American workers, which is crazy.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
It is ridiculous because look at his track record. Look at Hunter Biden. He's an American worker. He's done so much work overseas. No, I think the John Kerry thing is worth playing. A caller like Nick, who's giving him so much pushback about his idea to have people build solar panels, he thinks it's a great idea. In fact, he's been flying back and forth on his jet to tell people how great it is. And he doesn't understand the opposition. He's confused at the backlash. He's really Marie Antoinette. He doesn't understand why the unwashed boat people are getting so upset that he's taking away their jobs. This is cut 3.
And we don't have to have, the burning of a fuel which clearly contributes to a scientifically arrived at conclusion about the warming of the planet and the dangers to this planet. This is so logical. I don't understand the opposition. I don't think there's any gain in it politically.
No, but there's gain in it, job-wise. If you oppose it, maybe you can keep your job.
So I'm going to say anytime you're making an argument and you have to use the term scientifically arrived at, that means it was not scientifically arrived at. That's like saying, oh, yeah, I just beat up this guy in the alley. No, you didn't beat up a guy in the alley. If you have to say you beat up a guy in the alley, you didn't beat up a guy in the alley.
Right, yeah. He's protesting a little too much, and he really doesn't get it. And the whole part of it that I found so insulting was that he started talking about choices and how people have to have better choices. And Ronald Reagan once said the 9 most terrifying words you can ever hear are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. And these people, not only have they helped us, they've helped drive the economy into complete destruction. There's nothing left. They've killed businesses. They've helped us by keeping everyone's kids out of school. Who knows how much damage that's doing to kids? But they're also helping you by killing jobs and by helping you make better choices for jobs that probably are never going to exist. I love that. They keep saying like, oh no, it's going to create other jobs. Just keep the jobs that are already there. Just leave us alone. That's all normal Americans want, is to be left alone. They concern themselves with so much, and it's all to make themselves feel better. So John Kerry can get on the flying squirrel or whatever it's called with his friends and talk about how he's helping reduce climate change. It's complete BS. Let's play one more Jen Psaki before we go to break. Let's do cut 19.
Does President Biden endorse the characterization of genocide concerning the Chinese treatment of the Uyghur minority?
Yes, Secretary Blinken, I almost called him President Blinken. I'm giving him a bit of a promotion. Never know. He spoke about that during his confirmation hearing, so I would certainly point you to those comments.
President Biden.
He was speaking on behalf of the U.S. government. Did you have a question right there? Go ahead.
There's going to be a lot of pointing over the next few years. I'm going to point you in that direction. Pointing, circling. And actually, Jared, I do want to play one more. She was asked about the executive orders. So there's a lot of quotes coming up of Joe Biden where he said executive orders are things that dictators do. And now the impressive number of executive orders this guy has signed over the last few days blows other presidents out of the water, including Barack Obama, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton even. No one signed this amount of executive orders in this short of time. And so these reporters, and I'm not giving them props because this is their job, but they're starting to ask questions. And this is cut 27.
So just bring it back to the executive orders, the questions we were discussing at the start. So I'm still trying to sort of reconcile this. Deluge, what are we at? I think we're at 26 executive orders now, and reconcile that with the campaign rhetoric, because in October, Joe Biden said there were limitations on the use of executive actions, things you can't do by executive order unless you're a dictator. We're a democracy, we need consensus. Now, I think you said earlier that some of these executive orders were being used to roll back some of the immoral things that the previous administration had done. If you're calling these things immoral, is that seeking consensus and unity? And then also, does it suggest that President Biden sees himself as perhaps a benevolent dictator?
Well, Rob, I'm sure this wasn't your intention, but I think you took the president's comments a bit out of context. He was asked about tax reform and whether that could be done via executive order during the interview with George Stephanopoulos, which you're referring to. I think the question is pretty important context for everybody, and he said no. And the president also said during an interview with columnists back in December that he didn't think executive action should be used for everything. And
almost everything, though. She's very passive aggressive. And this is them when they're being nice. Trust me, we've seen them when they're not being nice. We've had 4 years in the front row of them being awful. This is them with the kid gloves, and she is not liking it. Guys, there is so much more to get to, but first I want to let you guys know that I'm so excited because today we have our VIPs here. They came all the way from New Jersey. Phil Murphy gave them the okay, and they're here in studio. They're having so much fun, and they're going to get a free lunch from Aviva Trattoria. So I know you guys know the expression, who says there's no such thing as a free lunch? Well, that's not true, because with my friends at Aviva Trattoria, we'll be giving away a free lunch every other Friday here at the studio. So we gave one away last week. Our VIPs are here now, and they're going to enjoy so much food. It's out right now, and it looks delicious. We have pizza, we have chicken parm, all of the best stuff. I'll be selecting winners this Friday or next Friday? Probably next Friday, I think. I hope when Anthony and Marcy come in, they already did come in. They brought so much delicious food. We cannot wait. And they brought cookies. From seafood to their homemade pasta, Aviva has you covered. Jared, what are you going to dive into first?
Oh, I'm diving into the farmhouse pizza, which Steve and Marcy were nice enough to bring. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It's the balsamic barbecue sauce with some chicken, and there's a honey mustard drizzle. There are leeks on there. I never would have thought leeks on a pizza, but it totally works.
Yeah.
And chicken parm sandwiches. So
they are the absolute best, the nicest people. They will take care of you, treat you like a VIP, even if you're technically not a VIP like my VIPs here today. They also have 4 convenient locations in Marlborough, Maynard, Rentham, and Westford. So make sure you check them out. They have a new location coming as well. I'll give you guys more information about that later in today's show. Takeout is available too. To enter to win the Aviva VIP lunch, go to gracecurleyshow.com. That's gracecurleyshow.com. You can be like our VIPs today. Just enter your email and we'll pick from the Aviva box here, and it's really fun, and the food is delicious, and it's a jam-packed show, so you don't want to miss it. We'll be back with more sound cuts on the other side. I'm Grace Curley, and this is The Grace Curley Show.
You can call her late for dinner. Just don't call her Gracie. It's The Grace Curley Show.
The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Mazie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us?
And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at?
I'm confused.
This was just a sham.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains and odors so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component moves pet odors from carpets and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 is made in America. If you are tired of pet cleaners that don't work, it's time to buy Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. It's great for bathrooms, kitchens, floors, upholstery, and grease stains. Consider Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code GRACE. That's genesis950.com. Coupon only available for 1 gallon purchase. Genesis 950. Much cheaper than replacing your carpets.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Start the afternoon off right.
Now what? Here comes a girl. Here she is. This is just the best part of my day.
It's Grace Curley.
We have sound from Governor Cuomo. We're going to save it for the next hour, but Jared says that it's great. And he doesn't say that about a lot of stuff.
This is peak Andrew Cuomo.
I'm guessing he didn't apologize and admit wrongdoing.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Did he double down?
I can't even get into...
Wait, can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Did he blame anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited. What a Friday. This guy, it cracks me up. Like Chris Cillizza tweeted out, oh, I don't think this Cuomo thing's going to end up as good as we originally thought. I'm paraphrasing, but I'll find the tweet. It's like, oh, really, Chris Cillizza? Let's stop pretending you didn't willfully ignore this for the last year. There are so many people telling them that this story was not what it seems. When he was getting an Emmy. No, you know what? I'm going to save it, guys. I'm saving it for the 1 o'clock hour. Today's poll question is brought to you by the EdenPure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, you need the EdenPure air purifier. Through Sunday, January 31st, BOGO is back. Go to EdenPure.com and use code word GRACEBOGO. Jared, what is the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Who had the worst first week? Joe Biden, John Kerry, Jen Psaki, or Janet Yellen?
John Kerry definitely had a bad week when he said that, solar panels. I mean, that was just brought me right back to the Obama administration. And I hadn't seen him in so long that I kind of forgot how terrible he is.
Everybody knows I botched a joke.
And the private plane thing, I mean, That was pretty bad, but only Fox ran
When
that.
the Boston Globe outs you for having a private plane, that's bad.
Boston Globe, WGBH, they're all turning on these Democrats. It's pretty funny. No, but I'm going to say Janet Yellen, we haven't even heard from. So she's doing okay. I'm going to say Jen Psaki because she has to be Biden's mouthpiece right now, and he's not giving her anything. So she's kind of guessing, you know what I mean? Like she can't really say, at least with Trump, if you were his press secretary and they asked you a question, you didn't have to say, oh, refer to this statement, whatever. You could say, oh, well, he tweeted last night that, you know, he hates so-and-so and he thinks this is stupid. At least you knew what you were doing. You knew what he stood for. With Biden, it's like she goes out there and she doesn't even have anything to go off of. I don't blame her. I'm going to say Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki in the lead at 48%.
Oh, good.
Joe Biden is at 35%. John Kerry at 13%, and Janet Yellen polling at 4%.
Technically, who's having the worst week as far as like what they're doing to the country would be Joe Biden. But as far as, you know, PR-wise, he hasn't even been out there. I was just talking to the VIPs about it. He comes out, and I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. He's got that twinkle in his eyes, guys. He wants to answer the questions. He wants to be back in the ring and like feel like he's a contender again. So he kind of, sometimes you'll see him, he'll be walking out and someone will ask something and he'll look at his Secret Service and he'll go, what'd they say? What was that? It's like he's being heckled or something and he wants to turn back around and fight them. But I think they must be saying to him in his earpiece, like, get out of there right now. No talking. The gaff man is really, he's on a tight leash. And it's unfortunate because I would love for him to just run free. Guys, we'll be back with Governor Andrew Cuomo. I'm going to read you guys a piece from Janice Dean. And we have Joe Borelli. It's the New York Hour coming up next. This is the Grace Curley Show.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now. Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to him, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I'm going to shut down the virus?
When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What word do we use to describe that?
Well,
think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
He was celebrating an evening of a historic day.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now. Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man. I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to them, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I am going to shut down the virus?
When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What word do we use to describe that?
Well, I don't think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
He was celebrating an evening of a historic day.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say? The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, Stefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
You guys have heard me talk about SuperBeets for a while, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, Grace, why SuperBeets? You can take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I feel so much better right when I take one. I feel energized and ready to take on the day. And in the afternoon, when I start to hit a slump, boom, I take a SuperBeet and I'm refreshed and ready to go. If that doesn't convince you, can we talk about the science behind SuperBeets? Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and supports healthy blood pressure. And the science team behind SuperBeets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the Science Award by the Nutrition Business Journal. Go to www.superbeetsradio.com.
She's the Boston Herald's wittiest wordsmith, the last woman standing at the Whiskey Priest. Once a very legitimate magazine that we definitely didn't make up named her the Michael Jordan of radio. Wait, don't you think we're laying it on a little thick here, Grace?
Just stick to the script.
Oh, okay. Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio, it's the Grace Curley Show.
Incompetent government kills people.
Thank you for that introduction, Andrew Cuomo. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone who's been listening every day and joining us in the afternoons. It's been so much fun already, and we have a lot more to get to because people like Governor Andrew Cuomo, they make my life easier, but they don't make everybody's life easier. Janice Dean has a piece in Fox right now on foxnews.com. COVID nursing home deaths, Cuomo and the truth. My late in-laws gave me strength to keep going. Now, we have all the sound from Cuomo. We knew this was going to happen. The AG report came out yesterday, and it showed that they were undercounting nursing home deaths by approximately, now, if you're not sitting down, you should be, 50%. I talked to Howie yesterday about it. We both expected it to be bad for them. We knew that there was a reason Cuomo was stonewalling people for so long. But 50% is a lot of people. It's a lot of miscounting. And the way they did it, which is amazing, they thought they were going to get away with it, is they would say that anyone who was in a nursing home and got sick and then was sent to the hospital and died in the hospital was not a nursing home death. Of course, that's ridiculous. It's a case of semantics, but that's what they did, and they got caught. And the AG, Letitia James, came out with this report, and it's stunning. And I'm so happy for Janice Dean and people like her because it's one thing to have something tragic happen, but to never get an apology and to have to watch this guy, talking about Andrew Cuomo, go around and get awards. He got the Edward M. Kennedy Award for Inspired Leadership. He wrote a book. He got an Emmy. He did stand-up routines with Chris Cuomo. If it makes you sick, imagine how it makes someone who lost both their in-laws in one of these nursing homes feel. It's a slap in the face. And she wrote this piece, and we're going to play Andrew Cuomo. Don't worry. I know you guys are all dying for the fake tough guy. Jared really built it up in the last hour. We will get to that, but this is what she said. She said, on Thursday morning, a 76-page report from New York Attorney General Letitia James's office was released. It finally confirmed that the nightmare we had been experiencing was very real. Our feelings of hurt, dismay, anger, betrayal from this leader and his health department were valid. What we knew in our hearts was the truth. In her report, James wrote, while we cannot bring back the individuals we lost to the crisis, this report seeks to offer transparency that the public deserves and to spur increased action to protect our most vulnerable residents. And this is Janice Dean. She says, that's the part that made me cry. Because we can't bring back my husband's parents, but I believe that they helped give me strength to not give up. I called my husband and his sister and then told them Mickey and Dee didn't give up. They helped us to keep going because those we lost are the ones we are fighting for. And it's true. The left talks a lot about the word gaslighting. And that is just making someone feel crazy for having a valid opinion or a valid worry or concern and saying, you're crazy. It comes from a movie where a husband convinced his wife she was going crazy by flickering the lights. And, he was flickering the lights and then saying, what are you talking about? Everything's fine. And he was gaslighting people for a long time. And that is such a hurtful thing to do when death is involved. You're saying, wait a second, I feel like I'm not getting justice. And someone's going, what are you talking about? This is all BS. This is all right-wing propaganda. I'm doing a great job. He really was like King Cuomo. And I feel such joy for Janice Dean and people like her who refused to quit and kept going. And she was ridiculed. The meteorologist, the weather girl, that's what they kept calling her from Fox. His spokespeople mocked her, and she didn't stop because she knew she was right. And good on the New York Attorney General for releasing this report and shedding some light on this story. The ridiculous part, though, and I mentioned this before, is that people like Chris Cillizza are like, wow, this is crazy. I guess this is a turn in the story. Chris, you're a little bit behind. Wait till Chris Cillizza hears about Hunter Biden's laptop. He's going to be flabbergasted. He's going to be shocked at how Hunter Biden's story is not what he thought it was. But Andrew Cuomo came out today, and he had to know that today was the day. It was the reckoning. This report is damning no matter who you are, no matter how much the media coddles you. It's a bad report. When you've lost Chris Cillizza, you've lost the left. And Jared is going to walk us through Cuomo-gate.
So, like all fake tough guys, he just comes out swinging right away. And you know what? With all due respect to Letitia James, the Attorney General, Cuomo's going to give you the real story on what this report is actually about.
Oh, cool.
Where this starts is, frankly, a political attack from prior federal administration, HHS. Their great spokesperson, Michael Caputo, who's Roger Stone protege, who said we had more nursing home deaths in New York because of something that the state health department did.
No, that's true, though.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Didn't we just confirm that? It's so funny because someone tweeted out today, who is Andrew Cuomo going to blame for this? Wrong answers only. And there was a lot of people who said Reddit, Trump, whatever. But I didn't see Roger Stone getting thrown into the mix.
Never saw Roger Stone coming. Roger Stone is to blame.
What do they say? Patriotism is the last refuge of a scandal. Roger Stone is the last refuge of a sinking Cuomo. Go ahead, play the next one, Jared.
Rest assured, it's not about blame at this point.
Everyone did the best they could. When I say the State Department of Health, as the report said, the State Department of Health followed federal guidance. So if you think there was a mistake, then go talk to the federal government. It's not about pointing fingers or blame. It's that this became a political football.
If this thing was a political football, he was Tom Brady. He was in this. He was tossing that football, Hail Marys here, there, and everywhere. And I have to say, he was fine taking the praise when he was doing, an incredible job and he was going to be the next president. He was wearing his leather bomber jacket. He was the most eligible man in New York. He was fine now. But now it's, we all did the best we could. And suddenly that's a good excuse. I have to say, whenever I was younger and I didn't try at something like a project or a test and I did poorly, that was always my go-to. I would say to my mom,
Roger Stone.
Yeah. It was Roger Stone's guy. No, I would say, I did the best I could. What more do you expect? I did the best I could. And my mom would look at me and she would say, no, you didn't. Like, stop saying that. You clearly did not do the best you could. But I would cling on to that. Yes, I did. That's what Andrew Cuomo is clinging to now. Oh, we all did the best we could. What about holding people accountable? And what about, taking responsibility and, all that stuff he talked about with Trump? And now it's just, we did the best we could. Sorry. Shrug. Go ahead, Jared. Play the next one.
All right. This one, you're dead. You're dead. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Look, whether a person died in a hospital or died in a nursing home, it's the people died. People died.
What difference at this point does it make? He just basically said, you say potato, I say potato. About this.
But to be fair, they were old. They're probably going to die anyway.
Oh, God.
By the way, the same people are dying today. 96% of the people who die are older people with comorbidities, which happens to be the population that lives in nursing homes. It's continuing today.
I don't think you're making the argument you think you're making. He's like doing whataboutism, but it's hurting himself. People are still dying. Old people are still dying. It's like, yeah, no, we know that, Andrew.
It's like somebody drew up a diagram. Okay, what is the worst possible thing I could do today? Yep, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. There's no thought process to this.
So to recap, it doesn't matter where people died because they're dead. It's only in nursing homes where old people who had comorbidities are probably going to die anyway. He did everything he could. You can't put blame here because he did everything he could, and it's all Roger Stone's fault.
Well, that's really the key.
It's the Roger Stone defense.
That's really the key is, getting Roger Stone to be held accountable for this. But I have to say, as someone who's new to this radio biz situation, I try to prepare a little bit beforehand. And, you always get a little nervous before you go in front of a microphone, no matter who you are, unless you're Howie. He's really a seasoned pro. But if you're going in front of a microphone, it's nice to have something that you kind of think of before. This guy, his only preparation is sheer ego. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say it like it is. Like, that's all you had prepared. I'm not saying I expected him to go out and, put his hands together and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did a terrible job. But something besides his fake tough guy routine would be nice. And Janice Dean said this in one of her pieces. She's written some great stuff. And I know I keep referring to her, but she really is the face of this story. She said it would have, and I'm paraphrasing, she said it would have been different if he had come to us and apologized, like hat in hand type of thing. But he didn't. He went out and wrote a book, and the press fawned over him, and they had to just kind of take this day in and day out. And if you lost people you loved, it makes you sick anyway. So if you lost two people that you loved, it would really make you ill seeing this guy. And the fact that I don't know why I always expect him to have this moment where he goes, I have to apologize. But he won't. He won't. And by the way, in case anyone's wondering, and I don't want this to destroy your faith in the integrity of Chris Cuomo, the Let's Get After It host from CNN, is we don't call him Fredo Cuomo because it is a racial slur, but some people know him as Fredo. He did not touch this story last night. It was a pretty big story, this AG report that said that they were undercounting nursing home deaths by 50%. No, he didn't touch it because Chris Cuomo, it's kind of like the Hunter Biden thing, Jared, with NPR. They have real news to get to.
Exactly. We don't engage in these conspiracy theories.
Okay.
From the Attorney General of New York.
Listen, we don't engage in these conspiracy theories from the Attorney General of New York. And while we're at it, why don't you go find Roger Stone's friend? Because he's at the bottom of this. It's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Roger Stone. People I did not expect to hear about today. Roger Stone. Wow. Guys, my friends at EdenPure have done it again. And just for this week, the Thunderstorm Air Purifier BOGO deal is back. That's buy one, get one Thunderstorm Air Purifier. You buy one, you get another one for free. It's been months and people still ask me if this works. The VIPs ask me about it. I go, to a family event. Everybody says, oh, that Thunderstorm thing, does that really work? My future father-in-law asked me about it. I say, yeah, it absolutely works. We had it in here for 5 minutes because we moved it from the kitchen, and it works almost instantly. It's unbelievable. Jared uses it because he has
old comic book smell.
Right.
Yep.
Any kind of smell you have, if it's a damn pet, if it's tobacco, if it's just food smells, This thing is really powerful. If you want to get one, I'm going to tell you right now that this deal only goes till January 31st at midnight. So you have to listen up. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word GRACE, BOGO. The reason that I love it for a multitude of reasons, but one of them is it's so light. I'm holding it up here. It's so light. You just plug it in. You can move it around. You don't have to replace the air filters. It's quiet. I mean, it's everything you'd want in an air purifier, and it's everything that other air purifiers are not. They're loud, they're bulky, they're expensive.
It's easy. There's no filter. You plug it in, it just works. Like you said, we moved it. You can move it from room to room. No hassle, takes no time. It's fantastic.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the products that we're going to have on this show, it's good for lazy people. I'm a lazy person. I have enough going on in my life trying to keep up with Andrew Cuomo. I don't have time to be buying air filters. So I put this product in, and it's a one-time thing. You put it in, you're done with it. So if you want to get this, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word GRACE, BOGO. Don't forget, the deal ends January 31st at midnight, and shipping is free. We will be back with your calls, 844-500-4242. What do you think of Andrew Cuomo? We're going to play more of this on the other side. I'm Grace Curley. This is The Grace Curley Show.
You're listening to The Grace Curley Show.
This hour of The Grace Curley Show is brought to you by Old New England Soap. From bath bombs to candles for her and shave soap for him, Old New England Soap has what you need for Valentine's Day. Order today at oldnesoap.com. If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains and odors so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component moves pet odors from carpets and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 is made in America. If you are tired of pet cleaners that don't work, it's time to buy Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. It's great for bathrooms, kitchens, floors, upholstery, and grease stains. Consider Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at Genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code GRACE. That's Genesis950.com. Coupon only available for 1 gallon purchase. Genesis 950. Much cheaper than replacing your carpets. Here's 1 minute of President Eric Swalwell.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
But I will always be real with you. I will be bold without the bold. Welcome to my fellow candidates, whom I consider we are all a part of being the Avengers. The Republicans in 2016, that was the Hunger Games.
And, you know, it's said often that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes, and we heard a lot of rhymes yesterday.
My wife, Brittany, also wants you to know we've got 2 beautiful children, Nelson and Cricket. But the decision to have children was her choice. I'm the only candidate calling for a ban and buyback on every single assault weapon.
Again, we have to have an ankle monitor on this president. This is the worst possible time for a serial offender like him to be running around unsupervised.
It's story time with Grace Curley. Tell me the story about the time you got pulled over by the police with Howie in the car.
Howie and I were going on a remote, and I was driving at the time the Howie car, which was Howie's face wrapped around this car. And a police officer pulled us over, and he was really just asking a lot of questions about the car. And then he said to me, "Do you know how fast you were going?" And I was like, I don't know, but I didn't think I was going that fast. Then he started talking to Howie, and Howie offered him a book. He said he couldn't take it, but he said he was a big fan. And then by the end of it, it became very clear to me that he had really just pulled us over because he was a fan of Howie and wanted to meet him. To this day, that is the only time I've been pulled over for speeding, and I was not speeding. So I blame Howie for that.
Catch all of Grace Curley's stories weekdays right before Howie from 12 to 3 on The Grace Curley Show. And follow Grace on Twitter at G_Curley.
Follow Grace on Twitter at G_Curley.
Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's poll question is brought to you by the EdenPure Thunderstorm. Holding up now for the camera. For all your house odors, you need the EdenPure air purifier. Through Sunday, January 31st, BOGO is back. Go to EdenPure.com and use code word GRACEBOGO. This only lasts till midnight. Jared, what is the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Who had the worst first week? Joe Biden, John Kerry, Jen Psaki, or Janet Yellen?
I know who had the best first week. Major, the dog. That dog was written up more than Paris Hilton.
We got the memos from the Oval Office, of course.
The Oval Office on Twitter, it kept saying, oh, the dogs are running around the White House lawn. The inauguration. It really was an amazing week for the dogs.
I like the memo that started with the 45 woofs.
So lame. I'm going to say the worst week was Jen Psaki. I think it was a tough week for her. I think she seems... Oh, I'm such a baby. I always feel like they're going to be listening and I'm going to hurt their feelings. She seems like a nice person. I'm not trying to hate on her, but she's not doing a good job.
45% say Jen Psaki had the worst first week. 33% say Joe Biden, John Kerry at 15, and Janet Yellen at 6.
It was just too much circling back. It reminded me of Office Space. Like, I'm going to get back to you on that. I'm going to circle back on that. Just a little too much. Speaking of Andrew Cuomo, though, do we have more sound from that, Jared?
Oh, yeah, we have so much more sound.
Oh,
we could do an entire hour on
All
just
right,
Cuomo.
you know what? Never mind then. Oh, well, just a quick story because it does have to do with Governor Andrew Cuomo. So somebody from @CuomoWatch tweeted out, if you see anybody from the Cuomo administration in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them and you tell them they're not welcome anymore anywhere. And the Speaker of the New York State Assembly said, this is appalling and dangerous. Encouraging violence must never be tolerated. Shame on whoever is behind this kind of garbage. There was one problem with the quote. It was Maxine Waters' quote, and she was talking about Republicans, and they just kind of switched it. And I went on this guy, Carl Heastie, the Speaker of New York, and he hasn't said anything about Maxine Waters. He just has that last quote up there. No follow-up.
Classic mix-up.
It was a classic mix-up. They've been doing that a lot lately. Like, they'll hear this quote that Nancy Pelosi said, and they'll see it somewhere, or they'll hear Louis Gohmert say it, and they're like, that's unacceptable. It's like, no. He's saying your words back to you. Lord, help us. All right, let's play some more Cuomo.
All right, so...
Oh, no.
He now talks about how they're below the national average of nursing home deaths. I don't know if this is pre or post report. But.
A third of all deaths in this nation are from nursing homes. New York State, we're only about 28% only, but we're below the national average in number of deaths in nursing homes. But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
Oh, my. Jared, that might be the worst one yet.
That is
terrible.
That's not just vapid and unaware. That is
evil.
Mean and evil.
And also, if it's such not a big deal, why did you guys hide your real numbers? Like, if you really weren't that concerned, if you really think that it's all the same and that old people are dying anyway and that a death in a hospital is the same as it, then why go through all that trouble to undercount it unless you felt like it was going to make you look bad? What a jerk.
But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
This is his Benghazi moment where Hillary Clinton said, at this point, what difference does it make?
Yang Yang just became the mayor of New York.
Oh, my.
This is textbook. What's the worst way I could handle this? I'm going to do that.
Yeah, he's really good at that. He's really good at coming out and saying the worst thing at the worst time. It's like his number one skill. Guys, we'll be back with Joe Borelli from New York City. He'll have plenty to say about this. Don't go anywhere. This is The Grace Curley Show.
Alexander Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or to send a few rounds downrange. We have a fully stocked pro shop with a huge selection of guns, crossbows, archery, classes, rentals, a 15-lane range, and a friendly staff. Come on down to Cape Gunworks, Airport Road, Hyannis, or capegunworks.com.
Liberty Safe. If you're a gun owner, you know that name because they've worked so hard to earn the title of America's #1 safe. And the area's best Liberty Safe dealer is Dependable Lock in Nashua. They have Liberty Safes in stock now. Keep your guns and other valuables locked up in a Liberty Safe. See the experts at Dependable Lock to learn more and see the full collection. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Cory Booker said it best.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
Here's stumbling and mumbling Joe Biden.
David Duke, the former leader of the KKK.
The Ku Klux Klan is the Ku Klux Klan.
8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip, and the demagogues around the world.
We also have a mechanism to control drug prices. Folks at the folks at Health and the Health Department in the United States, HHS.
It would put 720 million women back in the workforce.
I never ever thought that I'd see what I saw in Charlotte.
Would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP. Well, they're going out and getting G5 and going to dominate. I mean, what are we doing? The bills that the future president here, that the senator's talking about.
Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio.
Look, whether a person died in a hospital or died in a nursing home, the people died. People died.
I think that his answers in this press conference really show you the depths of his arrogance, because anyone else would know that today's the day where the sharks are out, people know you made a lot of mistakes, and you have to be careful about what you say. You have to play it safe. And he went out and just spewed the same garbage and really offensive, mean stuff. Basically shrugging his shoulders and being like, yeah, people die, but so what? This guy has such an ego. It's really unbelievable. And that's why I wanted to have Councilman Joe Borelli from New York's 11th Congressional District on with us. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Borelli.
Anytime, Grace. Thanks for having me.
So, Joe, were you the person who tweeted today, who's Andrew Cuomo going to blame at this press conference?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he certainly didn't blame Andrew Cuomo, the only person who put his name on a piece of paper ordering the people back into the nursing homes who were testing positive for COVID. I mean, there is no one else to blame, but yet he found, Republicans, he found Donald Trump, the administration, the current administration. I'm surprised he hasn't started blaming, AMC and GameStop at this point.
Yeah, I saw the replies to your tweet, and a lot of people were saying he's going to blame Reddit. But I didn't see him throwing Roger Stone into the mix. I thought that was a real desperate move.
I mean, it just goes, as you said, just the genuine depravity of one human. I mean, this is a guy who said, blame me, when it all began. And by the way, Grace, the pandemic was unprecedented. And I think, and I know I would personally, give a lot of leeway to governors and mayors, whoever, who made some errors, as long as they were doing it in their best judgment, in the best interest. I think there's a lot of room for that. But when you're the guy who just denies any responsibility and then goes out and writes a book about how successful you handled it, or makes posters. I mean, the guy has posters for sale. There are a couple of people in this world who make political leaders who make posters about themselves. It comes to mind. Kim Jong-un comes to mind. Putin comes to mind. This guy made posters about himself and his life and his family and was selling them to New Yorkers. He's a sick man.
And Joe, I find it amazing now that people like Chris Cillizza and people at CNN are saying, oh, and NBC News last night ran a piece on it, like, oh, this is really bad. I guess his reputation wasn't what we all thought, and maybe he didn't handle this as well as we thought he did. It makes me want to scream, because I'm thinking people like Joe Borelli and Janice Dean have been talking about this for months and months and months.
Yeah, and you even saw little bits of people at other, certainly not CNN, but even, Sarah Rule gave him a little bit of a go-around, and then something happens. Something happens with the C-suite level people at some of these networks, and if you push back on Andrew Cuomo even a little bit, you're told not to do that. Don't do that again. He's our hero. He's our next thing. But by the way, the best thing Joe Biden ever did as president in the first 2 weeks was not giving us an Andrew Cuomo cabinet position. America won in that respect, by the way, and that's something we could all stand and congratulate Joe Biden on doing for us.
Well, Joe, I don't want you to forget that a few months ago it seemed like Andrew Cuomo might be our next president. The press was saying that he should run.
Right. I mean, the press literally took everything he was saying, hook, line, and sinker, fell over themselves. And again, this is a guy who, the minute things started getting good, he wrote a book about himself. He had fundraisers with Hollywood celebrities. I think he even called them by their first name, Bobby and Bruce. For Robert De Niro and Bruce, those are his homeboys. I mean, he just uses their first name. And this is who he wanted us to think he was, this Emmy Award-winning, cool dude in a loose mood. I love having ladies talk about me. And all this time, people in New York State, including Democrats, are saying, but, Governor, what's going on with the nursing homes? Why are all these people unaccounted for who are now dead? And his reaction was to criticize. I mean, there's one state assemblyman who's a Democrat who lost family members in a nursing home, can't get answers. And the governor's staff is just attacking this guy for no reason. I mean, he's not doing anything crazy. You're the governor. You're supposed to be accountable to the state legislature. Then you mentioned Janice Dean. I mean, just dismissing her concerns as she's just the weather lady, calling family members death cults because they're out there protesting at the state capitol asking for the nursing home information that he just refused to give.
It's really amazing, and it seems like his ego has taken control. They started calling him King Cuomo, and I think that's very accurate. The guy doesn't have, and I mentioned this earlier, Joe. I'm talking to Joe Borelli, the councilman from New York's 11th Congressional District. Janice Dean wrote in one of her pieces that, like you, she would have given a lot of leeway if he had ever owned up to anything, or at least, seemed like he showed some empathy or sympathy for some of these victims and their families, but he didn't. He just completely sidestepped that so he could go on The View and go on the Smothers Brothers routine with Chris Cuomo with the giant Q-tip.
Yeah, it's really sad. It really is, insulting to some family members who were just completely dismissed. And, I'm glad, though, that America is finally seeing, and peeling back the onion of who Andrew Cuomo really is. He is not this competent, benevolent dictator that some try to prop him up to be. I mean, today he just announced, coincidentally today, right, certainly not to bury the news of the nursing homes, but he just announced that restaurants in New York City are going to be reopening in over 2 weeks. So obviously it was just done today to bury the other headlines. But
Wow.
It's like he never thinks about people. Like, they're going to open restaurants at 25% capacity on Valentine's Day on Sunday. What will happen on Sunday that won't happen on Friday and Saturday night? And, thus giving some restaurants maybe a little bit of an opportunity to make some money on what normally is a busy weekend. It just
Joe,
goes to show you how bad he is.
And he keeps trying to spin now. I mean, the press conference he gave today, I know you watched it. It was really horrific. I mean, the guy had no good answers. He was just kind of rambling, and I would have thought that his staff would have said, hey, we really need to be on point with this. Stay on the message. He didn't at all, but he never really seemed to own up to anything, and he seemed to then start saying, well, either way, people would have died. But if that's the case, then why did you guys undercount it? If it didn't make a difference if people died in a hospital or in a nursing home, why lie and not count them as nursing home deaths unless you thought it was going to make you look bad?
Yeah, and when people question it, I mean, again, this is one of those things where the cover-up is worse than the crime. I mean, if mistakes were made, if he came out a week after sending people to nursing homes and said, hey, by the way, now we have the hospital ship at New York Harbor. Now we have the Javits Center hospital open. Now we can bring people to those places. People would have been so forgiving, and he might have actually been the leader that some people think he was. And again, with the same thing with counting the deaths. If there was nothing to ever hide, if you didn't feel guilty, if you didn't think you did the wrong thing, then why not just give the data over the minute someone questioned it?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense other than the fact, as you pointed out, that it was wrong, it was a cover-up, and it was to protect his reputation over anything else.
Now, we are talking about Governor Cuomo, but I want to switch over briefly here to Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City. He said, he gave this weird, I don't know if you saw this, Joe. It was a State of the City speech, but he didn't really give a speech. It was kind of just like a long 30-minute commercial with stock photos, and he kind of narrated it. And in it, he said that we must redistribute the wealth of New York City. What do you think? What do you think of Bill de Blasio, and what do you think of the people who are trying to run for mayor? Who do you have your money on?
Well, I'll say this about Bill de Blasio. At least he's honest, and I mean that. I mean, at least he's open about who he is, about what he's trying to do. And redistribute wealth and usher in a new age of socialist, party rule in New York City was his plan. It was his plan before he was mayor, and he's been very open about those intentions. As far as who the next mayor is, I actually think there's a good chance we'll be saying in a year or two from now, wow, that Bill de Blasio, he wasn't so bad after all, because the current guy is terrible. And that's unfortunately the direction I think we're heading in. I mean, now in the city council, we now have, in the same election year, 8 socialists, open socialists running for city council. And there's not just 8 of them. There's 8 people who are probably going to win. I mean, there's other socialist candidates in other races. But there's 8 people. That's almost 10% of the city council. 20% of the city council that will be open, avowed socialists. So it's going to be a wild ride for New York City. If you're thinking of moving here, stay home.
What do you think about Andrew Yang? Jared's a big Yang guy.
Yeah, look. I respect the fact that he's not tied to any, far left political radical group. I respect the fact that he's not tied to some, entrenched Democratic machine organization, and I respect the fact that he's one of the only candidates out there offering some new ideas, some new solutions, some new takes on how New York City can run. I would be happier if Andrew Yang became the mayor than many of the other Democratic candidates in the race. 100%, very confident saying that.
Now, Joe, what do you see for the future of New York? Because I read today, someone had tweeted out the story about Bill de Blasio saying we must redistribute the wealth of New York City. And then someone else had retweeted it and said he did. Now it's all in Florida. And it really made me laugh. But I thought it's scary because I feel bad for people. I love New York. I mean, I love New York City. I know you do. It makes me nervous for the future of that state when it's a mass exodus. Nobody wants to be there.
I mean, people were willing for many years to pay a premium to live here. I mean, it is a nice place to live. It's fashionable. It's posh. It's exciting. It's all those things people see in the movies. And they were willing to pay that extra 10%, extra 15% it costs to live in a desirable area. And now that just got eliminated. I mean, the biggest criticism right now of Andrew Yang is that during the pandemic, he went to his second home in New Paltz, New York, which is a beautiful part of New York State. And he's just, more reflective of how middle-class people, I mean, he's wealthy, but how middle-class people really have thought or rethought about New York. I mean, my family, it's a fight for me to tell my wife we have to stay here for another 4 or 5 years. When we think about the lifestyle we can live elsewhere, for the money we can live elsewhere, it becomes more and more difficult to stay. And I joke around because I'm on your show right now. I do a show quite often in North Carolina, and I joke with the host there that I probably know a bigger share of his audience than even him. I mean, with just the amount of New Yorkers who flee for pension purposes, for low cost of living purposes. I mean, most of the people I graduated high school with 20 years ago have now moved out of New York State, out of Staten Island, our hometown.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. I think if Andrew Yang, if that's the biggest thing they have against him, he could just say, well, I had to leave. I couldn't stay here because Bill de Blasio made this place a hellhole. I mean, I think a lot of people would relate to that.
Heck, if I had a beautiful house in New Paltz, I mean, there's great restaurants, great hiking up there. I just spent the entire year there myself. But right, I mean, they have no real attack against Andrew Yang. I mean, no one cares about policy. This is a city that's just governed by identity politics. So no one's even criticizing him and saying, what do you think your basic income plan is going to cost too much? No one's even at that level yet. They're just trying to take personal pot shots at the guy to knock him down a peg because he is leading in so many of the polls.
Yeah, and there's a Real Housewife, Joe, who's running for mayor as well. I just wanted you to know that. Barbara Kay.
I did know that, and her friend Luann de Lesseps has actually been very helpful in funding restaurants and doing a lot of work during the pandemic.
The Countess.
So I'm not a reality fan, but that's good news.
I love Luann de Lesseps, the Countess. Thank you so much, Joe Borelli. We really appreciate it. Joe, where can people find you on Twitter?
At Joe Borelli NYC, and I'm very witty. I trust me.
No, he is. He really keeps up with all of the current tweets, and he always has good takes, and he's always sticking it to Andrew Cuomo. I follow so many people, Kara Markowitz, Joe Borelli, Janice Dean, and I'm not even from New York. I don't live in New York, but I like seeing New Yorkers who are going after Andrew Cuomo and holding his feet to the fire. I've been watching this guy for months, talking about Chelsea Handler and who he's dating and going on The View and wearing his leather bomber jacket. And I was like, am I missing something? I feel like this guy's doing a terrible job. And today, it's kind of a nice moment because it's official. Him saying, well, people are going to die. People died. That's really... Remember a month ago he was saying Santa's going to be really good to me because I did a really good job? How times have changed. Thank you so much, Joe Borelli. We appreciate it. We'll be back on the other side with your calls, 844-500-4242. Don't go anywhere. This is The Grace Curley Show.
The Grace Curley Show will be right back.
This hour of The Grace Curley Show is brought to you in part by the Follensby Inn in North Sutton, New Hampshire. Do what I did and enjoy this beautiful inn. To reserve your room, go to follensbyinn.com.
If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. Genesis 950 was my go-to product for Mr. Gooner. The reviews are amazing as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains so they're gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet odors from carpet and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine. Genesis 950 is made here in America. It's a concentrate, so 1 gallon makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. I brought it to my daughter daughter Carolyn's new home, and she loved the results. Use it in kitchens, on floors, upholstery, and on grease stains. Consider trying Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. It's green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code Howie. Coupon only available on purchase of 1 gallon. That's genesis950.com. Genesis 950. Much cheaper than replacing your carpets.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man. You've been hearing me talk about SuperBeets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why SuperBeets? You could take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I take them twice a day. Once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind SuperBeets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But SuperBeets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just 1 scoop of SuperBeets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out SuperBeets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
It's story time with Grace Curley. What do you think was the funniest moment of the Howie Carr Show?
The funniest moment of the Howie Carr Show for me was when we were doing the death pool and someone called up and Howie said, "You're next on the Howie Carr Show. Who do you want for the death pool?" And the person said, "Howie Carr." And Howie said, "Yep, that's me. Okay, who do you want for the death pool?" And the person said, "Howie Carr." And Howie again said, "That's my name." And I was just back here crying, laughing in the green room, just realizing that this person was trying to put Howie in the death pool, and he just didn't understand it was happening. And then finally, when he figured it out, he said, "That plays, put it on the list." And it was just, I don't know, I still think about that sometimes.
Catch all of Grace Curley's stories weekdays right before Howie from 12 to 3 on The Grace Curley Show. And follow Grace on Twitter at G_Curley.
Grace Curley. She's working for you.
I'm like Bette Midler and For the Boys. Got to keep the troops entertained.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. Jared, do we have more Cuomo?
We have more Cuomo.
Oh, I can't tell if I should be happy or sad about that. Okay.
Well, one of them is, but a couple of them. This one, he brought up, because you got to identify with your constituents. He brought up the death of his own father. Of course, Mario Cuomo, former mayor of New York, et al. Seizure of the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Oh. Don't get me going on the Tappan Zee Bridge, okay? I've heard Howie talk about the Tappan Zee Bridge so many times over the last 5 years. Just the word makes me like shudder. Wait, now I have a question. His dad died a long time ago, correct?
5 years ago. Yep.
So what does that have to do with the nursing homes?
Let's find out.
I dealt with the loss of my father. The pain is so incredible and inexplicable And why, and why, and why.
Wow. See, I should have known it was really this bad because Jared doesn't hype up sound. Like, if anything, he downplays it. If you have a good sound cut, he's like, yeah, it's okay. But you came in here and you were like, this is the worst sound ever.
It is. I don't know that Schadenfreude does it justice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
All right. Well, give us one more. I don't even know if I can.
The politics wasn't just here in New York. It was all the Democratic governors. It was New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Blame all the Democratic governors for the deaths in nursing homes. No, that was mean. Because if you lost someone in a nursing home, then it put a thought in your head, well, maybe it didn't have to be. Maybe my father died unnecessarily.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was just cruel to do. That was just cruel.
Oh, wow. He is a sick puppy. He really is. There's a lot of bad politicians out there, but he just shot to the top of my list.
And we didn't really have time to get into it with Joe Borelli, but I am not kidding. We need to look at the Son of Sam law and see if this guy has to give back all the proceeds from his book and donate it to the victims or something like that.
So the New York Post put a cover of his book on there today, but they changed it. Like, they changed all the words on the front to talk about all of the, terrible things he's done. The New York Post really goes after Andrew Cuomo. They go after Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Bill de Blasio, and the Bidens. That's why I love the New York Post. Jared, did you see this story about the Washington Post language interpreter?
Oh, yes, I did.
The Washington Post tries to cancel Biden's sign language interpreter for translating for conservative groups. So this woman does sign language, and she did it at the White House press briefing, and they kind of doxed her. Like, they looked into her past, and I guess she's done sign language for like OAN and different, conservative things, which is now everyone's considered conspiracy theorists and fringe and right wing and whatever. And so now they think it's a problem that, and also for pro-Trump comedian Terrence Williams, who did sign language for one of his stand-up things. And these are what people are saying. My personal thought is that the interpreter has done harm to many members of the deaf community via her work in Right Side ASL. Being rewarded with national visibility as an interpreter for the White House is not building bridges nor supporting unity. Cancel culture needs to stop, and it needed to stop yesterday. This stuff is so sick. Don't worry about the White House sign language interpreter. All right, guys, we'll be back on the other side. We got Holly Robishaw and much more. Don't go anywhere.
It's a new year and time for a new you. Stefano Hair Restoration changed my life, and they can change yours too. My production director said when he saw a recent pic of me that, you look great, like Benjamin Button. You're getting younger. That's quite the compliment, and I owe it to Stefano Hair Restoration and Dr. Chris Hines. Many wait years before they get the hair restoration they deserve. Stop waiting and just get it done. You won't regret it, and you'll ask yourself, why did you wait so long? You can see my before and after photo shoot on their site at hairman.com. Hairman.com. Stefano Hair Restoration is taking all the necessary precautions to keep you safe during your visit. They also offer virtual consultations. Go to hairman.com today and schedule your free consultation and get the hair you deserve and have always wanted. Dr. Hines took care of me, and he'll take care of you too. Visit them today at hairman.com.
You guys have heard me talk about SuperBeets for a while, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, Grace, why SuperBeets? You can take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I feel so much better right when I take one. I feel energized and ready to take on the day. And in the afternoon when I start to hit a slump, boom, I take a SuperBeet and I'm refreshed and ready to go. If that doesn't convince you, can we talk about the science behind SuperBeets? Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and supports healthy blood pressure. And the science team behind SuperBeets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the Science Award by the Nutrition Business Journal. Go to www.superbeetsradio.com to find out more about SuperBeets. Also, did I mention they taste really good too? That's www.superbeetsradio.com. www.superbeetsradio.com.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't.
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't.
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
He might not be flashy, but he's there when it counts. Here's 1 minute of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House.
You've watched the fight, you've watched the tactics, but here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court. Noted with great interest the Green New Deal, and we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal. Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer is impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise. Nobody is supposed to be guilty until proven innocent in the United States of America. Look, we're at an impasse. We can't do anything until the Speaker sends the papers over, so everybody enjoy the holidays.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just saying.
Hitler was a Christian.
Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
Did you have tanning lotion on,
A
Joe?
little. I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor. Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape. I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains and odors so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component moves pet odors from carpets and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 is made in America. If you are tired of pet cleaners that don't work, it's time to buy Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. It's great for bathrooms, kitchens, floors, upholstery, and grease stains. Consider Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code GRACE. That's genesis950.com. Coupon only available for 1 gallon purchase. Genesis 950. Much cheaper than replacing your carpets. Brace yourself, guys. Here's 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid $163.
She's the Boston Herald's wittiest wordsmith, the last woman standing at the Whiskey Priest. Once a very legitimate magazine that we definitely didn't make up named her the Michael Jordan of radio. Wait, don't you think we're laying it on a little thick here, Grace?
Just stick to the script.
Oh, okay. Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio, it's the Grace Curley Show.
Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. I want to thank Aviva Trattoria for bringing in an amazing spread. The pizza was delicious, the chicken parm sandwiches, the chips, the arancini balls. It was all so good. My VIPs loved it. And I want to thank my VIPs. We've been having such a good time talking about, their governor is Phil Murphy. And they're so proud of him. They love him so much. No, so we were just talking about, really bad governors, and theirs was in the running for a while to be the worst. But Andrew Cuomo, I hate to break this to you guys, he just knocked you right out of the running. He is taking over. Before I go back to that, though, I see you guys on the lines, 844-500-4242. We will get to the calls. But first, I want to say, there's a story right now about Joe Biden's brother. And I was mistaken yesterday. I did call him by the right name, Frank. But I was confused about which brother this was. Because there's one brother who looks just like Joe. He looks exactly like him, and he sounds exactly like him. And then there's another brother, Frank Biden. And Frank Biden is in a little bit of trouble because he released this this ad. And I read it yesterday, and then more stories about it came out, including a story in Politico. They decided to get back into the reporting game and do some actual stuff, and this is what they decided to go for. The reason he's in trouble is because an ad ran in the Daily Business Review, and he talked about his relationship with Joe Biden. Now, Frank is not a lawyer, but he works, I believe, for a law firm. Strange. He must just have so much wisdom in general that he doesn't need to actually be a lawyer. He contributes so much else to the law firm, I'm sure. If he's like all the other Bidens, I'm sure he's top notch. But this is the quote that I don't think makes any sense. And Jared, I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. I read this yesterday. I thought about it, and I'm really confused. He's talking about Joe Biden. He says, "My brother is a model for how to go about doing this work. One of his central tenets is that one should never question another man or woman's motives or assign blame to them. That way you avoid creating a disparity that prevents any kind of coming together. You can, of course, question someone's judgment, and that's what we're doing by bringing this to court. Huh?
What?
And the reason I think this is so weird is because it's getting Joe not in trouble in the sense like it would get Trump in trouble. They're not going to, subpoena his whole family or anything, but it's creating a headache for Joe Biden. And I'm just looking at it going, was that even worth the headache? It's kind of ridiculous. But the story does get more interesting because now it's coming out that Biden, according to someone with knowledge of the conversation, said to his brother, actually, hold on, I got to ask.
Sentence, and I don't even know where it's going.
He says, for Christ's sakes, watch yourself, Biden said of his brother's potential business dealings, according to a person with knowledge of the conversation. Don't get sucked into something that would, first of all, hurt you.
Wait. Devout Catholic Joe Biden took the Lord's name in vain?
Yes.
I refuse to believe this.
And I just did as well. And if my fiance's grandmother's listening, I'm really sorry.
You were reading a quote.
I was reading a quote. That's what I used to say when I was little, and I would swear. Like, if it was in a story, I'd say, it's part of the story. It's part of the story. It really helps. And my mom would always go, okay, yeah. It's artistic integrity. Biden, whose tone was both jocular and serious, according to the person, seemed to know then what is becoming plainly obvious now. His family's business ties threatened to undermine an administration whose messaging is centered on restoring integrity to the White House. A law firm ad promoting Frank Biden's relationship with the president caused a stir when it ran on Inauguration Day. He didn't even wait till the day after. He was like, we're in, run it. A federal investigation into Biden's son, Hunter, you guys know all about that. But this is where it gets kind of interesting, okay? It says Florida super attorney and Democratic donor John Morgan said business sensitivities were coursing through the Biden world this week after the report about Frank Biden's law firm. What Frank told me is, my brother loves me dearly, but if I lobbied, he would cut my legs from underneath me. Morgan said Frank Biden told him this week. In other words, he was not going to lobby for the firm. He was just going to be a legal consultant or whatever. Again, he's not a lawyer, so I really don't know what he's doing for the firm. Frank made it clear to me what the president made clear to him. The day he got elected, the long knives came out for all things Biden. There's a target on all of them. I just want to say to this guy, John Morgan, no, there's not. Like, you guys, you seriously, and to Frank Biden, you don't have to worry. Like, you guys are good now. You're in. It's all going to get brushed under the rug. I mean, Politico's running this story, but it's really just for fun. You know what I mean? It's just to try their hat at journalism again. The long knives are not out for you. That is clear.
And I don't want to be Gary Grammer here, but Politico, something cannot be jocular and serious at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of thought
that's not a thing.
It was a little contradictory. And the guy goes on. This guy, Morgan, I don't know what he was thinking talking this much, but I love it. He said one person interested in working with Frank Biden was Morgan himself, a fellow Floridian who was close to the younger Biden. This is what Morgan said. Great guy. I had my jet take him to the inauguration. The jets that these people have, the PJs. I kind of think I'm in the wrong biz. I should have just been a Democrat because I love a private jet. Like, and to have friends who can just say, oh, don't worry, I got you. I'll send you there. Does this guy not realize, like, this is the exact kind of optics they're trying to avoid? Like, oh, no, I think Frank Biden's a great guy. We talked about his brother, the president, and I let him take my private jet to the inauguration. Can't you just see Frank behind the reporter like, stop.
Are we taking your jet to Arby's or mine?
Morgan said he'd start talking with Frank Biden about business opportunities last year, but that nothing had come together yet. We are talking about him doing some things inside the firm, Morgan said, referring to his firm Morgan & Morgan, which bills itself as America's largest injury law firm. This is my favorite part. It says any partnership would have a 100% legal focus and wouldn't involve any lobbying, Morgan added. Now you skip down like 2 sentences and it says, Frank Biden is not a lawyer. Anyone else have question marks above their head? I'm like, so what is... It's going to be 100% legal focus, but he's not a lawyer. But works as a senior advisor at another Florida-based law firm, the Berman Group. Morgan is a prominent Democratic donor who gave $355,000 to the Biden Victory Fund in August. And this is as a businessman for years. Oh, this was Frank Biden's business partner talking about him. This guy's name is Joe Abruzzo. He says, as a businessman for years, Frank is inundated with offers and opportunities. He tends to focus on ones he's passionate about, education and social justice issues.
At the law office, or he's not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you work for Politico? Take it easy. Too many questions.
I'm just trying to follow the story here.
The Bidens will circle back with you when they feel that they can.
I'm one of these dumb deplorables. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, my producer is a credulous boomeroob. Frank Biden has long run business ventures in Florida. He remains with Berman Law Group and is involved in the firm's work fighting against sugar companies that burn sugarcane as part of their business practice. Frank's work on the case drew headlines this week after CNBC reported the law firm was touting his relationship with his brother, the new president, in an advertisement. I just find it amazing that they don't wait at all. Like, I say this all the time, but the lack of subtlety does kind of amaze me. And I think I agree with Barack Obama on this one. Barack Obama was a lot of things, but he had a lot of nuance to him. You know what I mean? Like, he was just radical enough where he really could fundamentally change a lot of America in the time he was there. But he was also just normal enough where people gave it a pass. But right now, the Democrats, like, they don't have any of that. It's at the first day, cancel the Keystone Pipeline. They're just going so, it's just too much too soon. They need to rein it back a little bit. And for Frank Biden, it's like, okay, so this whole thing happens with Hunter. They barely get by. Jack Dorsey had to literally suspend the New York Post and call it Russian disinformation for them to survive the Hunter Biden thing. And then day of inauguration, he's like, run the ad where I'm talking about Joe. It makes sense. It does make sense why they're so arrogant. I mean, who wouldn't be in their position? But I just don't know if it's ever going to catch up to them. I am curious if anyone thinks it will. I would be happy if some of these reports were damning and they actually had to answer for some of this. But I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath. Joe, you're next with Grace on the Grace Curley Show. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Grace. You're doing a great job. Enjoying what you've been on the air for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing awesome.
Thank you.
A couple things. Would you prefer to make money the way Hunter Biden and his uncles, father and uncle, make it, or the way the Reddit Raiders made it?
Ooh. Well, it depends. Well, Hunter got a 2.8 carat diamond from a Chinese business guy, and diamonds are a girl's best friend. So in some ways, I want to go towards that. I've heard a lot of things that the Bidens are getting, like money-wise, and it does seem good. But the Reddit guys, they're heroes, you know? Like, they can put their heads down at night and not feel bad about it. They were the little guys. They were the Davids versus the Goliaths. And I think a lot of people right now in the country are kind of cheering on the Reddit guys. I know yesterday I said Revenge of the Nerds. I stand by that. But I like the nerds. So I'm going to say the Reddit guys. I'd rather be the Reddit guys than part of the Biden crime family. Guys, sticking to your New Year's resolutions is a matter of making one right decision at a time. It can be tough. I know you start the new year, you're like, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to do all these things, and then you slowly fall off. Well, if you're looking to institute some healthy habits and improve your lifestyle this year, you need to check out SuperBeets Heart Chews. I'm going to give some of them to the VIPs. They're delicious. They taste really good. They help with circulation. Just 2 SuperBeets Heart Chews per day give you the cardiovascular support and promote the heart-healthy energy you need to chase your goals. SuperBeets Heart Chews combines non-GMO beets and clinically researched grapeseed extract shown to be 2 times as effective at supporting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. When it comes to implementing healthy habits this year, adding SuperBeets Heart Chews to your daily routine is an easy decision to make. They come prepackaged like that, wrapped up. It's like eating a Starburst. It's so easy. You can take one in the morning, one at night. You can take them both together. It really doesn't matter. It makes you feel good and you feel healthier. And I have a special deal for you guys. If you want to get free 30-day supply of SuperBeets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase, you can go to getsuperbeets.com/grace. That's 2 free gifts valued at over $50 Only available at getsuperbeets.com/grace. That's getsuperbeets.com/grace. We will be right back with your calls. 844-500-4242. I'm Grace, and this is The Grace Curley Show.
She's never held office, but she paid the whiskey priest's monthly rent once. She's Grace Curley. Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was.
There's a lot at stake here.
This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected.
Respect the virus.
I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again.
We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that.
I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player, and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned. The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid. The rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love, and to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here is the official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony! Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
She's got the voice of an angel.
I've been called the songbird of my generation, of people who've heard me.
It's Grace Curley.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Grace Curley Show. Thank you for joining us. Today's poll question is brought to you by the EdenPure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, whether it's, damp pet smell or tobacco, whatever it is, you need the EdenPure air purifier. Through Sunday, January 31st, BOGO is back. Go to EdenPure.com and use code word GraceBOGO. Jared, what is the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Who had the worst first week? Joe Biden, John Kerry, Jen Psaki, or Janet Yellen?
I got to go Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki polling at 30%, good for second place. She's been overtaken by slow Joe Biden.
Really?
43%.
Wow, this is the first time Joe's ever been polling number one. Good for him. I do have to say, though, Jared, because we had a conversation about this today, I don't want to make this about me, God forbid. But I did have quite the morning today. Something happened.
Yes, you did. It was a dark morning here at the Grace Curley Show.
So every Friday I do this thing. I get a donut every Friday because some places used to do free donut Friday. And then I kind of got in the habit of it, and I treat myself. I got through the week. Everyone does different things.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. And what do I get? I get the best donut that all normal people get. No, not the old-fashioned donut. That's what Howie gets. I always have to get him one when I go somewhere. And it's so sad. It comes in a little bag, and I feel like an old person. But I get him one. He likes it. No, I got a glazed donut because they're delicious. And no matter where you go, if it's a fancy place or if it's just a regular place, I'm not going to name the place. If it's just a regular place you can find anywhere, the glazed donut's always solid. And I got it in the bag, and I had a lot of calls on my way in, didn't look at it, was saving it for the desk. I was going to eat it at my desk. Then I got here, I stuck my hand in, and I pulled out a strawberry frosted donut. And when I tell you, horror, I was disgusted.
The disappointment and dejection on your face was astounding.
Jared was so confused. He goes, I don't understand. Is it the way it looks or is it the flavor? I'm like, it's the flavor, Jared. It's the flavor. Do you think I would willingly say, oh, can I have a strawberry frosted donut? It's gross. And my sister came in and she was asking me, well, how bad was it? Like, what kind of flavor? And she went through like 10 flavors. And every single one I said, no, I would eat that. Like a jelly donut, I would eat that. Boston cream pie, I would eat that. Blueberry donut, I'm fine. A strawberry frosted, yuck city. So I gave it to Jared. So my bad morning turned into Jared's great morning because he got a free donut on Friday.
It's the circle of life. It's a beautiful thing.
Ugh. I'm still not over it. I'm going to have to get one on my way home.
Are you going to compare the workers at the donut shop to the Capitol insurrectionists? Because apparently that's what we do now. So.
Oh, did someone else do that? Are they comparing it again?
Yes.
Okay, so yesterday we played a guy, some sort of expert. I don't even have to know who these people are anymore. They're all experts and, political pundits, and they know everything. But this guy compared the Reddit traders who helped bring up the stock price of GameStop to screw over the hedge fund guys who shorted the stock. That was the best way I just described it. That was the most coherent way I just described it. I should send that to Joe Biden and say, this is what to say today. Anyway, though, so that guy compared those people at Reddit to the Capitol rioters, which is insane. And it happened again, because when one person says something insane, all of the people at those networks get it, and they go, oh, I like that. That is radically crazy. We will all start saying it. Let's hear it.
This is former SEC Commissioner Laura Unger.
It really puts a lot of question about the integrity of the market, right? And it really kind of, everybody's scratching their heads over this. What should happen? What is the right thing to do to control this or stop this? Not unlike what we saw on January 6th at the Capitol, right? If you don't have the police in there at the right time, things go a little crazy. And that's kind of feels like what's happening with this. Much different, much lesser degree. It's financial harm, not personal bodily harm. But certainly that's the same kind of, platform created frenzy that people are operating under. And these are very trying times.
If you have to make a comparison and then right after you have to, kind of backpedal and say much different, obviously, very different, not the same, then maybe just don't make the comparison. Maybe it's not worth it. Just an idea. Dan, you're next with Grace on the Grace Curley Show. Go ahead, Dan.
Grace, what those kids did was I've traded stocks for 30 years. What they did was monumentally awesome. But they're going to get in trouble because they're probably going to get them for collusion just so they can shut it down, because they expose not only a weakness in that stock, but in the weakness in our entire financial system as a whole and in the entire market. Now, I don't really know if you remember the 2008 crash, but it was probably leveraged 400 to 600% of what the total market value was. Right now, we're probably several hundred times leveraged. So what could happen when you're over leveraged is you have a stock and then you can't cover the margin call. But that's why that guy was crying yesterday, because all his other stocks are also over leveraged. So all it takes is a couple of stocks they do this with, and the whole system comes down, because now you have to sell some position to cover your margin call, but then you're going to get another margin call in that position. Why do you think the mutual fund companies wanted to have the money market break $1? Because That way they can steal from the investor that's not in this whole little scam. It's absolute insanity. And then you let what's legal for the hedge funds, they're able to do this. And then what they were going to do is put that company out of business, throw people out on the street.
Yeah. Dan, you know a lot more about it than I do, but I appreciate it. I actually have a good piece here by Sean Davis from The Federalist. He breaks down exactly what happened. We will get to that and Holly Robishaw in the next segment. Thanks for the call, Dan. Great call. This is the Grace Curley Show.
My friends at EdenPure have done it again, and for just this week, the Thunderstorm Air Purifier BOGO is back. That's buy one Thunderstorm and get another one for free. It's been months and people still ask me if it really works. Not only does it really work, but it works in hours. Our sales rep came down last week and there was a funky smell at the Airbnb, but that was no match for the Thunderstorm. The mailroom manager lent one of ours to her, and hours later, the smell was gone. The EdenPure Air Purifier is so small you can hold it in your hand and it plugs right into the wall. That's why it was so easy to move. The best part is that you don't have to replace any air filters, which of course saves you time and money. BOGO is back for 1 week only. Maybe you have one and you know how well it works. Now you may want one for your second floor or your basement. Pet, kitchen, tobacco, or that basement smell. They're all gone with the EdenPure Thunderstorm. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. This deal ends on January 31st at midnight. The Thunderstorm sells fast, so don't delay. Shipping is free.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
There's a group of about 10 people outside of work that represent the entire universe of the community that I've spent time with and my wife has spent time with since March.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
We spent time with about 10 people, period. We have a lot of friends we have not seen for months, and we don't know when we will see them. There are lots of people we haven't seen in, forever.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world, but it's the only world they know.
Those are the rules in this game that we all need to play by.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
My wife and my circle of friends has gotten very small.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get EdenPure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with SuperBeets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
You guys have heard me talk about SuperBeets for a while, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, Grace, why SuperBeets? You can take it from me. The benefits of SuperBeets are incredible. I feel so much better right when I take one. I feel energized and ready to take on the day. And in the afternoon when I start to hit a slump, boom, I take a SuperBeet and I'm refreshed and ready to go. If that doesn't convince you, can we talk about the science behind SuperBeets? Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and supports healthy blood pressure. And the science team behind SuperBeets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the Science Award by the Nutrition Business Journal. Go to www.superbeetsradio.com to find out more about SuperBeets. Also, did I mention they taste really good too? That's www.superbeetsradio.com. www.superbeetsradio.com.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Live from the Aviva Trattoria studio.
Groups be used at vaccination centers when they get stood up across the country. Does the White House support that request?
I did ask our team about this. You or someone else may have asked about this the other day, and I think I have something on it here. One moment. Thanks for your patience. Lots to say about COVID, no doubt about it. So, let's see. Let me talk to our team about it.
I do have to say, guys, welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. Our poll today was who's having the worst week so far with the Biden administration. And originally I had voted for Jen Psaki, and Biden has taken the lead. But I just want to say for all the Grace Curley Show listeners, I am correct. It is Jen Psaki. That just confirmed it. That Friday clip, that is not good. That was her circle back of a circle back, and it was rough. And it also kind of backs up what I said in the beginning of the show, which is I think they're overwhelmed. I don't think they came into this ready to go. I don't think they have anyone in there who really knows how to answer these questions. Because I watch Kayleigh McEnany all the time, and I know they hated her, but damn, she was ready to go. She would flip that. They all made fun of her for her binder, but you never heard her struggling like that with the binder. She had it all color coded, ready to go. Holly Robishaw is with us right now. Holly is our expert with all things having to do with Bacon Hill, as she calls it. But Holly, first I want to get your take on the Biden administration in these first couple of days.
I did not know that being blundering is contagious. Yeah. So, Joe, clearly Jen caught it from Joe, right?
Yeah, I know.
This is talk about not being, the whole COVID thing. Weren't you prepared that we might get a question on that? And then all week long. So what about the vaccines? And, we're getting there. We're getting there. This has been a disastrous week. And I think what they thought was, well, we're going to get into the White House and the media is just going to keep throwing us softballs. And they're not even throwing hard balls here. They're throwing up things that they should be able to answer, and it's coming across as like they're throwing hard balls at them, fastballs, and they can't answer them. But I'm not surprised because you got a president that asks when he's signing an executive order, I don't know what I'm signing here.
Yeah, no.
Really? You don't know what you're signing? That's pretty scary, Joe. Maybe then you shouldn't sign it.
No, Holly, you're absolutely right. I've been noticing that too, that people are starting to say, oh, the press is being really hard on them. And that's not the case. They're just asking fair questions. The Biden administration's only used to be questions about the German Shepherds and Joe's love of milkshakes, black and white fraps or whatever. But Holly, we got to talk about this piece you have on the Howie Carr Show website. You can also check it out at gracecurleyshow.com. It's called Joe Kennedy, the Nonprofit Hack. For anyone who doesn't know, Holly's been writing pieces for our sites, and they're blowing up. People love these pieces. They're short. They're very snackable. You can read it in it doesn't take you a long time to get through it, but you hit so many points. Tell us what's going on with Joe Kennedy that a lot of people, they've probably forgotten about him. I mean, he lost to Ed Markey. He kind of faded away, but you're keeping tabs on this guy.
Well, I'm on his email list. How I got on it, I'll never know.
Lucky you.
So, yeah, and once he got through the primary, I got a couple begging emails, but it's been over. And but during impeachment, he sent a couple little things, and I didn't think much of it. And then this week, he's like, "I've got big news," and here I'm thinking, the guy's got a job. right? He's got a job. And certainly the blundering Biden administration has picked a lot of people from Massachusetts. He picked Marty Walsh to be Secretary of Labor, and then I'm still shaking over. They picked Stephanie Pollack, the Massachusetts Secretary of Transportation, to go down to be the head of the Highway Department. Talk about failing upwards, and we talked about that last week. So little Joe has been sitting by the phone going, hey, if he's picking Marty Walsh and picking Stephanie Pollack, I should be getting a call soon. But the phone didn't ring for little Joe, and clearly he couldn't get a job in the private sector. So what is the trust fund baby to do? Oh, he got probably a call from Daddy, and Daddy says, I know what you can do. Go out and create a nonprofit. And it'll be profitable to you. As you remember, his dad created Joe for Oil, Citizens for Energy, and he took down a paycheck of over $500,000 to run that so-called nonprofit. I put air quotes on that. And then they did a worldwide search for the director of marketing, which just happened to be Joe's wife, and she's taking down over $300,000.
Oh, it's a family business?
Yes, yeah, it's a family nonprofit.
Oh, right.
Right. So oil's out, as they can't. Everybody wants solar and wind, so could not do oil. So little Joe had to come up with a new concept, and so it's called the Groundwork Project. I'm not quite sure what it means, but in his emails, his begging emails, I've already gotten 2 for it. He's like, we're going to fund grassroots activists and keep the team together, which is another way of saying that he's going to eventually run for office again. And so you're going to pay him and pay his campaign staff, which are probably the worst campaign staff ever, because, I mean, Joe started 20 points ahead of Ed Markey and then lost to Ed Markey. I mean, come on. He lost to Ed Markey. He's a Kennedy, and he lost to Ed Markey. I mean, that's got to be the worst staff ever. But with this Groundworks, he's raising money, and it sounds like he's going to keep his campaign team together, and all this money is going to go, fund these big salaries.
Right. You guys can check out Holly's. This is Holly's piece. Sorry, Holly. I just want to let people know, because I'm sure they're hearing this and going, where can I read it? Go to gracecurleyshow.com. It's titled Joe Kennedy, the Nonprofit Hack. And Holly, this is what he said in the email. He claims the money will be dedicated to supporting organizers, advocates, and activists on the ground in Massachusetts and across the country who show up year-round to engage and educate voters, build trust in their communities, and work towards a more progressive future.
Yeah, let me translate. That means that he is going to pass out money to local activists so that he can buy support for the next election that he's involved with. He wasn't able to get enough support for the last one, so this time he's going to go out there in advance and buy off these people and be ready to go, because that's what the Kennedys do.
But Holly, I do find it interesting, and I think you bring it up in the beginning of this story, that ever since he lost to the ice cream man, as you call Ed Markey, a lot of these other people got picked to be part of Biden's cabinet. Marty Walsh, Stephanie Pollack. And do you think he's regretting ever running against Ed Markey? Because I think if he hadn't run against him and he hadn't kind of put a stain on the Kennedy name with that terrible run, that he probably would have been picked by Biden to fill some sort of role. And I know the Kennedy name wasn't great to begin with. I do get that. Please don't text in everyone and get mad at me. All I'm saying is the loss made him seem like a loser.
Oh, well, he is a loser. He lost to Ed Markey. No, it didn't help him. Long gone is the clout of the Kennedy name when he gets bypassed for anything down in D.C. And you can't tell me that he decided to do the Groundwork Project instead of getting chosen for a high-profile position with the Biden administration. You can't tell me that he said, oh, no, that Biden called him and he said, no, I'm going to do this nonprofit. It's going to work out better for me. I don't think so. He didn't get the call. He's been snubbed, and it reflects on the Kennedy name that the only choice that they have is to do a nonprofit. Now, the good news, there is some good news here, Grace.
Oh, please do tell.
because he only served like 8 years in Congress. So I don't think that's going to qualify him for his own library like his uncle. So we're not going to have the taxpayers having to fund a Joe library.
Oh, that is good news. Silver lining on this Friday afternoon. I'm talking to Holly Robishaw. Holly, I have to ask you, what do you think about this vaccine rollout? I've been noticing, and Howie's mentioned it too, WGBH had an article about Baker and the job he's doing with this vaccine rollout, and they're not impressed. And once you lose WGBH, you've kind of lost the Massachusetts media. What is your take on this?
Disaster. Absolutely disastrous. First of all, he's got these forms online, and it's complicated, and not every senior is technical to be able to do this stuff. And what a disaster on this, in that he's not prepared. It reminds me of Deval Patrick, and when we were converting over from Romney Care to Obamacare, and it cost the state $1 billion. And I think Parker took a page out of that playbook and said, let's screw it up like Deval did, and I'll follow in his footsteps. I mean, how he's not ready. And my thought would be, so should he apologize to Trump? Because he's just been kicking the crap out of Trump for so long, and clearly he wasn't ready to do this rollout. And I'd like to know, when are the restaurants going to be able to go beyond 25%?
Well,
Come
Holly,
on, Governor, let's get going.
The part of it that drove me the craziest, I was reading this article, and it was talking about, Massachusetts had a really weird phased out plan where, prisoners got the vaccine before people who weren't living in nursing homes but were over the age of, let's say 65. It was weird prioritization of people. But then I noticed that Charlie Baker also in his administration decided that some of these administrative workers for healthcare companies or, Harvard Medical, whatever they were, people who were working from home. So not only were they not old, but they were working from home, were scheduled to get the vaccine before old people. And then I read that a lot of those people weren't showing up for their appointments. So they were just blatantly missing the appointments. And sometimes when that happens, the dose expires and they have to throw it away.
Yeah, where he got his priority list is a little confusing. I think if we follow the science, we would know where to go on this, but we didn't follow the science. I think he was following politics, but I'm not quite sure of the politics of this. Look, anybody that he should have been rolling it out for senior citizens, first in the nursing homes. I'm sorry if you're in prison. I think you should have waited till after our seniors that are the most vulnerable, that are still mobile in the community, that go food shopping and stuff, why they wouldn't get above a prisoner, and why there isn't a better rollout on this. I mean, clearly, if you're a senior, you usually go to the doctor more often. Why wasn't there something done with the doctors or Walmart, or not Walmart, but Walgreens or CVS? I mean, they know who's coming in for prescriptions. They do give out flu shots. How this could have been messed up this much is mind-boggling to me. I mean, my parents, right? My dad's not been very healthy. He's got a lot of medical conditions, okay? And my mom has caretakers to help her out. What are they going to do? Drive down to Gillette Stadium to get their shot? That's crazy. They should either be going to Walgreens or CVS or their doctor's office. And certainly, I mean, you could have involved the medical community. They know who they have, how many patients they have over the age of 75 or 65. I mean, this is a disaster. Clearly, Baker has really blown this. And let me just say, I've always thought he would not run for a third term, but after this, I don't see how he could run for a third term. Who likes him at this point? The seniors don't like him. Restaurateurs don't like him. People that have children that want them going back to schools don't like him. So
Republicans don't like him.
Oh,
Democrats like him, okay, but Republicans don't like him. But Holly, I think you're absolutely right. And part of it that boggles my mind is the fact that it would seem that if you had such a bad track record with nursing homes, and I was telling my VIPs this earlier, I said, I do think when the Holyoke Soldiers Home tragedy happened, I do think Charlie Baker did feel bad, and I think he felt responsible. I watched a lot of those press conferences. I think you could see it on his face. He knew he messed up. So you'd think that his first reaction, forget the prioritization, forget the phases, forget the guidelines, you'd think he would look at the people planning this and say, number one rule, get it to the old people. That's just the number one rule. And that's what a lot of other governors did. Governor Justice in West Virginia, he said, it's not that complicated. Get it to the old people. And now he has like 90% of the old people are vaccinated.
That would have made sense. And but I haven't seen any real big push to clean up what went on at the nursing homes. Remember, he's still been putting COVID patients into those nursing homes. So I haven't seen a real caring aside from him about the seniors, other than he keeps saying that he couldn't visit his dad for 100 days. Okay, well, I don't think he's done a very good job on this whole thing, and it can't be understated about how much he's messed up with the nursing homes, how much he messed up with the Holyoke Soldiers Home, and now how he's messed up with the rollout. There are so many different ways that he could have possibly done this to make it roll out smoothly, and it hasn't happened that way. And now I'm hearing he's going to install a phone line on this. Oh, great. Another phone line.
Another couple of hundred jobs to get people, and they'll never miss a paycheck. Holly, thank you so much for being with us. And people can read Holly's stuff at HowieCarrshow.com or GraceCurleyShow.com. Her articles get an amazing amount of eyes on them. Everybody wants to read what Holly's coming up with. She always keeps an eye on Beacon Hill. And it's tough because not a lot of people do. People always focus on national news, but there's a lot of corruption happening right in your backyard. Guys, we'll be back with another expert on Massachusetts hacks, Howard Lawrence Carr. Don't go anywhere. This is The Grace Curley Show.
You're listening to The Grace Curley Show.
I recently had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but this reminded me again of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer, a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. Right now, when a lot of people don't want to go into the city, Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, and parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols that Perfect Smiles has taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. Call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, or go to HowieCarrshow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile. Change your life.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists.
Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white. Aging, angry, white guys. Angry, white man.
The angry, white, old men.
These angry white men.
The angry, white vote.
All these angry white people.
Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's insult.
You tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist.
The credulous boomer rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
your math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at and the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains and odors so they are gone for good. Its antibacterial component moves pet odors from carpets and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for your family and pets. Genesis 950 is made in America. If you are tired of pet cleaners that don't work, it's time to buy Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. It's great for bathrooms, kitchens, floors, upholstery, and grease stains. Consider Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at Genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code GRACE. That's Genesis950.com. Coupon only available for 1 gallon purchase. Genesis 950. Much cheaper than replacing your carpets.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, Stefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
This is the Grace Curley Show.
Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's show. A lot of guests. You guys can check out all those podcasts at gracecurleyshow.com. I'm now talking to the one and only Howie Carr. Howie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Grace. I just was looking at the New York Post website all afternoon, and I kept waiting for them to post some of this tape of Andrew Cuomo. I mean, if this were a Republican that had said the things that he said this morning, it'd probably already be out of office, I think.
Howie, I did Cuomo the entire second hour. I mean, the sound, you could do it honestly for the whole 4 hours. The sound is just, it's unbelievable. But there's another sound, Howie, I want to play for you. We played a little bit of this for Holly Robishaw. Jen Psaki got back. You know how she keeps saying she's going to circle back to people?
Yeah.
She finally did. Take a listen.
Groups be used at vaccination centers when they get stood up across the country. Does the White House support that request?
I did ask our team about this. You or someone else may have asked about this the other day, and I think I have something on it here. One moment. Thanks for your patience. Lots to say about COVID, no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
So, let's see.
He doesn't have much of a future in radio talk.
Let me talk to our team about it.
Howie, it's looking bleak.
You know what Rush says, right? Let me look through my stack of stuff. You know, you don't just rustle through the papers, while you're saying nothing.
No, yeah, you gotta fill it with some sort of sound. I mean, that's just kind of basic of what you do in press. Hey, by the way, Howie, Guantanamo Bay detainees will be offered COVID vaccines to move forward with war crime hearings. Did you hear about this?
No.
So
why am I not surprised?
The priorities.
The average Gitmo detainee puts on about 30 pounds because they were probably eating sand and roast camel before they were picked up by the Allies.
Howie, let everybody know what they can expect on your show today before we go.
I think we're going to be talking about the Durham probe seems to have come to an inglorious end. Smith got probation. Probation! He tried to put Carter Page in prison.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Howie Carr. Everyone tune into his show. I'll be there for Police Blotter Facts Friday and for Grace's News. Thank you so much for listening this week, guys. Stay safe.
Take advantage of HelloFresh's limited-time New Year sale and hit refresh on your dinner routine in 2021. Get delicious recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients sourced directly from growers and delivered to your door. With more than 23 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie options. You can finally say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipe cards are easy to follow, with simple steps and pictures to help you get meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the grocery store, you save up to 40% on groceries, cut food waste by 25%, and save time, so you can spend more time with your loved ones. See why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. For a limited time only, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals, including free shipping during HelloFresh's New Year sale. This offer is available for a limited time only. That's code Howie10 for 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator.
I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday.
I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the